In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we got a brand new form of a Pokemon that we had known for a while, Ursaluna, and this was its Bloodmoon form. This was a form that I think everyone fell in love with. Even if you don't like the form, so many people loved the concept of this. And whenever we talk about ZA, people are always speculating about, oh, could there be another Bloodmoon form and all this. But you may be surprised to know that Ursaluna is not the first time the Pokemon Company have done this, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Welcome back to the Lumiose Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we're going to be talking about every Bloodmoon form in the Pokemon franchise. Now, first we have to define a Bloodmoon form, because technically there's only one Bloodmoon form, Ursaluna, but when people say they want a Bloodmoon form of other Pokemon, they usually mean that they like the concept of having this one-off form of a Pokemon where it's just this one Pokemon happens to be different from all the others in its group. And there are other examples of these. Now, this can get a little muddy because there's lots of different forms of Pokemon, right? There's regional variants. There's some Pokemon just have alternate forms. So how exactly do we define what a Bloodmoon form is? I think there's 4 criteria they have to meet in order to be a Bloodmoon form or one of these one-off Pokemon forms. Because again, I can't stress this enough. Bloodmoon's technically not the right name for all of these combined. I would say Bloodmoon is exclusive to Ursaluna, but there's a greater umbrella term that includes other Pokemon. So first, these Pokemon have to be natural or at least not man-made. There can be a supernatural element to them, but they can't be man-made. Bloodmoon Ursaluna is not man-made. There might be a supernatural component. We actually don't 100% know why an Ursaluna changed form, but it wasn't man-made. And then 2, it has to be one-off. There are not dozens of Bloodmoon Ursalunas. There's just the one. So it has to be a one-off form, not a group of Pokemon, like where Galarian forms, there are multiple Galarian Lanoon, right, for example. 3, there must be something different about their appearance. Obviously, Bloodmoon Ursaluna looks very different from the Ursaluna that we're used to seeing. And lastly, number 4, there must be something different about how they're raised, whether that's a change to their stats, or maybe even it's the fact that they can learn a new move or something like that. And Bloodmoon Ursaluna, in its case, it has different stats, and also it does learn an exclusive move, Bloodmoon. So yeah, there are other Pokemon that fit all of these boxes. Let's get into them with number 1, and that is the Notched Ear Pichu. Now, maybe you remember this. This is from Generation 4, going a while back. It's been about 15 years. So yeah, we're getting old, aren't we? A little over 15 years. Oh god. Anywho, the Notched Ear Pichu was a exclusive event in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It also was featured in the Arceus and the Jewel of Life movie. And it's just exactly what it sounds like. It's a Pichu with a little notched ear. The thing that makes this Pokemon so different is that it cannot evolve either. So not only does it have that notched ear, but it can evolve. Other than that, it's not too special. It doesn't have like different stats. It's not crazy powerful or anything like that. It doesn't even really have much of a purpose other than to really promote the Arceus movie. But it was a fun design. Unfortunately, it is forever locked to Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. When you were able to trade Pokemon up, or transfer Pokemon up rather, to Pokemon Black and White, you could not transfer these. So they are forever locked to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which is a little sad. Number 2, I'd be remiss if I didn't say it, but one example of these forms is Bloodmoon Ursaluna. We won't spend a lot of time on that, though. You already know the deal with it. Number 3, we have Cosplay Pikachu. So these are Pikachu that you can obtain in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. This Pikachu is a little special because, for one, it has like a little black heart marking on its tail. And then for 2, for some reason, this Pikachu, and this is exclusive to this Pikachu, no other Pikachu can do this, when it changes into a different costume, it can learn a different move. Depending on what costume this Pikachu is wearing, it can learn Meteor Mash, Icicle Crash, Draining Kiss, Electric Terrain, or Flying Press. So, pretty crazy. But this is another one where it's locked to one game. This was given to you in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and it is not transferable into Pokemon Bank, and thus cannot leave Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is, again, kind of disappointing, right? Because this was something really special they did, and it's for the mascot of the franchise. But nope, it's forever stuck in ORS. This next one's a bit of a fun one because while we've covered ones that are locked to specific games, this next one is not even in a game, and that is the Crystal Onix. This is kind of another one that I think is a fan favorite amongst the community. There's so many good theories about the Crystal Onix, some of which I've done. But anywho, the Crystal Onix is an Onix that exactly what it sounds like. I mean, it's an Onix made of crystal. What makes this Onix so special is that there seems to only be one of them. It's kind of even a myth in the Orange Islands in the anime, and it seems to resist or even be immune to water-type attacks, whereas a normal Onix takes 4 times the normal amount of damage from a water move. So the fact that this Onix completely resists or possibly even is immune to water type attacks, it even lives in a water bed, whereas you normally were shown that rock Pokemon kind of don't like to be in water. This is insane. It's absolutely incredible. We don't know exactly how this Pokemon occurred. Again, there's tons of theories on how it happened, but we know it's not man-made, and we know that it is special, and it's the only Onix that we know of that does this. There's not like a group of them. It's just the one Onix. However, unfortunately, Crystal Onix, like I said, is locked to the anime. I remember all the speculation that Crystal Onix might be a thing in Scarlet and Violet because, you know, the Terrastal phenomenon, it's just kind of perfect. But no, it didn't happen. Onix isn't even in Scarlet and Violet, so Crystal Onix, probably never going to see it, but it was fun while it lasted, right? Now, before I get into the last Pokemon, I want to talk about some honorable mentions, because there are some Pokemon that may fit the criteria or come so close to fitting the criteria, and I think they're worth mentioning. First off, there is the fact that there are dozens of instances of giant Pokemon throughout the Pokemon anime. You know, you see this with the Bulbasaur in the Orange Islands, the Dragonite in that one episode of the original series. You also do even see some of this in the games with like totem Pokemon. But I would say that this doesn't fit the bill because there's not really a big appearance difference. Sure, the Pokemon are a little larger than normal, but we know that Pokemon can range in size amongst their individual species. So the fact that one is a little bit bigger, I just feel like isn't special enough to put it on the same level as the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, right? So that's not one of them. Next, we have another honorable mention, your partner Pikachu or Eevee in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. These Pokemon do not have a naturally occurring physical appearance difference from other Pokemon of their species. Sure, you can put some clothes on them, you can give them a funny haircut, but they do not have a naturally occurring difference. They do, however, have some differences in how you would raise them. For one, they have different stats from a normal Pikachu and Eevee, and also they learn different moves like Splishy Splash and Batty Bad. I wish that I was making that up, but yep, that's a move, Batty Bad. Good God help us. But yeah, that's really the only differences with these Pokemon. You know, they also, you're not able to evolve them in game, but that's really it. I feel like it's not enough to quite say that they are the same level as a Bloodmoon Ursaluna. However, I will mention that they also are locked to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So, you know, there's another recurring theme there with all these Pokemon being locked to one thing. Hopefully that isn't the case with Bloodmoon Ursaluna. I don't think it will be. Another honorable mention, and this is one that could be another example, is AZ's Floette, or the Eternal Flower Floette. So this Pokemon is naturally occurring as far as we know. It is also a physical appearance difference from other Floette. It also does have, while we've never been able to attain it in game, you can kind of hack your way into getting it in Pokemon X and Y, and when you do so, you can see that it actually has higher stats than a normal Floette, and it also gets its own exclusive move called Light of Ruin, so that fits it too. But the thing is that this is a Pokemon that existed 3,000 years ago, so we don't know if this Pokemon is a one-off form, like if this is the only Floette that has an Eternal Flower and has these stats and all of that, or if this is just the only one left, and there actually was a colony of Eternal Floette. There was a larger population of these Pokemon. We don't know, so I can't quite let it make the cut, but it is a Pokemon that could potentially fit the bill as another Bloodmoon form, or one-off form. Now, our last honorable mention is just various Pokemon in the anime that come so close to fitting the bill. You have a gold Sudowoodo, but that is man-made. It was from an experiment. You have pink Pokemon, but those do exist in numbers. They're not just one form. And also, as far as we know, they aren't raised any differently. And there's a couple of others in the anime that are like a little special. The Pokemon's a little special, but they just don't quite fit the bill of all these others. But our last one is a Pokemon that was introduced in the anime, and believe it or not, you can get this Pokemon, and it's even in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Perhaps you guessed it, but that's right, it is the Battle Bond Greninja. So this is a Greninja that was first in the anime. Ash Greninja is what it was kind of called in the anime, and it is a Pokemon that is able to perform something called the bond phenomenon, where its bond with its trainer is so strong that it is able to, well, there's some discrepancy on what it's able to do, but we'll get to that. But the point is that we don't know exactly how this Pokemon occurs. We know it's of legend. We know it's kind of a, not a legendary Pokemon, but a Pokemon of legend. Like, it is revered like a legend, if that makes any sense. And it is also potentially, in my opinion, a Pokemon that deals with aura. I've done a whole theory on that, but I think it's a Greninja that's able to access aura in the same way a Pokemon like Lucario would. You can check out that video. But yeah, this Pokemon used to have a physical appearance difference. It used to be able to access a different form where it looked different. It looked kind of similar to Ash Ketchum. However, as of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they have reworked this, and this Pokemon now is just able to get a stat boost after it defeats a Pokemon. So it has an exclusive ability called Battle Bond. They've just changed what it does. So this is a Pokemon that at one time fit the Bloodmoon criteria, the one-off criteria, but no longer technically does. But I'm including it anyways because I still believe in Ash Greninja. You can try to take it from me as much as you want, Pokemon Company. That was a part of my childhood. But yeah, let me know which of these is your favorite. Would you like to see more of these one-off Pokemon in the future? I know I would, but I'd also like to make sure that they can actually leave the game they're introduced in or be seen outside of just the anime, all that stuff. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and until next time, I will see all of you later.